Another day, another new reason for impeachment for President Trump. As if the investigations into collusion with Russia, obstruction of justice, tax fraud, charity fraud, campaign finance fraud, and the myriad of other crimes that Trump has been credibly accused of weren't sufficient to prompt Congress to initiate the necessary proceedings to terminate the Trump presidency. A new report today in the New Yorker provides yet another reason to begin impeachment immediately. Trump's national emergency declaration is an unprecedented abuse of presidential power. Add your name to tell Congress to put a stop to his bogus power immediately. In an article detailing the unusually close relationship between the president and Rupert Murdoch's Fox News, the New Yorker reporter Jane Mayer drops several bombshells. The first revelation was that a Fox News reporter, Diana Falzone, had uncovered evidence of the affair and the harsh money payments between President Trump and adult film star Stormy Daniels as early as October of 2016, a month before the election, but that a Fox News executive killed the story. Good reporting, kiddo. But Rupert wants Donald Trump to win. So just let it go. Ken LaCourte, then in charge of FoxNews.com, told Falzone in preventing the news from being made public. While it's no surprise that Fox News did everything in its power to help elect Trump, this is the first time that a network has been implicated in the type of catch-and-kill tactics that have entangled the National Enquirer in the machinations to cover up Trump's adulterous affairs, liaisons that would have damaged his election chances had they seen the light of day before the election. This new information is startling, but it doesn't contribute anything additional to the existing litany of misdeeds that the president is accused of. Mayer does, however, add to the list of potentially impeachable offenses with her revelation that, with Fox News in his pocket, Trump tried to retaliate against the owners of his and Fox's media nemesis CNN by ordering Gary Cohn, the former director of the National Economic Council, to tell the Justice Department to block it. I've been telling Cohn to get this lawsuit filed and nothing's happened. I've mentioned it 50 times. Trump reportedly said, and nothing's happened. I want to make sure it's filed. I want that deal blocked. George Conway, the lawyer husband of Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway and a frequent critic of his wife's boss, saw the news and immediately recognized the importance of this latest revelation. If proven, such an attempt to use presidential authority to seek retribution for the exercise of First Amendment rights would unquestionably be grounds for impeachment. https://t.co/f1u1z2q George Conway @GeorgeConway3D March 4, 2019. Trump's lack of respect for the media and the First Amendment to the Constitution that enables America's free press is well documented. That he could sink so low as to allegedly try to inflict spiteful retribution upon his perceived fake news enemies is sadly neither surprising nor unlikely at this stage of his presidency, given the numerous other opportunities he's offered the American public to assess his character through his behavior. His dangerous contempt for the rule of law and freedom of the press demonstrates how the president is destroying the norms under which our society operates. He must be stopped. The evidence for impeachment is in plain sight. Time for Congress to do the jobs before it's too late. Follow Vinny Longobardo on Twitter. Original reporting by Jane Mayer at The New Yorker and by Michael Burke at The Hill. Add your name to support the effort to prevent Trump from pardoning himself and his corrupt cronies. Next page.
In fact, ended up being World War III. This is what he had to say. He said, I believe he would have gone to war with North Korea. That was going to be a war that could have been a World War III, to be honest with you, Trump said. Here's the thing about this weird claim. There is no evidence whatsoever to back it up. There was no suggestion whatsoever during the entire Obama administration that they were ready to ever attack North Korea, or that it was something that they even considered. And if they did consider it, then I guess they did a damn good job of concealing it from the American public. But Trump is trying to basically repaint the Obama administration as something worse than it actually was. Now, I was no fan of Barack Obama's foreign policy, but at least we know he wasn't going to go over there and bomb North Korea. Couldn't say the same about Trump for at least the first year and a half of his presidency. But nonetheless, this comment drew the attention of George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband. And here's what George Conway tweeted out in response to this. We should highly question the mental stability of a president of the United States who would lie about whether the United States had been on the verge of starting World War III with another state possessing nuclear weapons. So George Conway, again, husband of Donald Trump's best friend in the White House, Kellyanne Conway, the woman who invented alternative facts, George Conway is out there telling us we need to question the president's mental stability. And he's not wrong. And in fact, he's not even the first person to suggest this in just the last few weeks. We have seen mental health experts. We have seen presidential candidates on the Democratic side, particularly Elizabeth Warren. We have seen members of the intelligence community admit that they had considered using the 20.
Hello, I'm Jake Tapper in Washington, where the state of our union is recovering after a brutal week. President Trump spent Saturday unwinding in his own unique way, delivering the longest speech of his presidency, 2 hours and 2 minutes, in front of an adoring crowd at the Conservative Political Action Conference, just days after the extraordinary public testimony by his former fixer, Michael Cohen. The president attacked the ongoing investigations of him, saying this.
So they don't have anything with Russia. There's no collusion. So now they go and morph into, let's inspect every deal he's ever done. They're trying to take you out with bullshit, okay? With bullshit.
It's actually difficult to think of a topic the president didn't mention in his speech. He bashed his former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, attacked the Green New Deal, complained about coverage of his crowd size at the inaugural, and he unexpectedly announced a new executive order to help guarantee free speech on college campuses. The president also addressed his failed summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, defending himself against blistering criticism of his remarks that he takes Kim Jong-un at his word about the death of American college student Otto Warmbier.
And I'm in such a horrible position because in one way I have to negotiate. In the other way, I love Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, and I love Otto. And it's a very, very delicate balance.
Joining us now, President Trump's National Security Advisor, Ambassador John Bolton. Ambassador Bolton, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Glad to be with you.
So it seems as though President Trump doesn't have anything new to show for the summit. Kim Jong-un got a second face-to-face meeting with the American president, building his clout on an international stage. Now we're told South Korea and the U.S. are scaling back major joint military exercises. Did this summit end up helping North Korea more than the United States?
No, I think it was unquestionably a success for the United States because the president protected, defended American interests. The possibility was there for North Korea to make a big deal with us, to do complete denuclearization in exchange for the potential for a very bright economic future. The president wanted to make that big deal. He pushed very hard for it. The North Koreans were not willing to walk through the door that he opened for them. So now we'll see what happens. But in terms of the outcome, the president has conducted this diplomacy different from prior administrations. All three prior administrations that addressed this question failed. So he's trying a different route. Kim Jong-un himself said at the last meeting, we're going to go through many stations before we reach agreement. This is just one more station.
But there's nothing new on the table. There's nothing new that has been achieved, right? Except for now there's these major joint military exercises with South Korea, which is what the North Koreans want. That's achieved for them. What did the U.S. get?
I don't see that there's any real difference between on the exercise point between what the president decided in Singapore and now. It's not like some new decision has been made. The president made his decision on the exercises back in the summer of last year, and those continue. I think what the United States gets from this is we show again the potential for the opening of North Korea if they're prepared to denuclearize. We'll let the North Koreans evaluate what happened. We're going to take a look at ways of making sure that our maximum pressure campaign of economic sanctions continues, because after all, it's the sanctions that brought North Korea to the table in the first place.
Well, nobody begrudges the president for trying something new. Nobody begrudges the president for trying...
I think some do begrudge him that.
Nobody reasonable begrudges the president for trying something new or for trying to achieve peace. But nothing came of the summit other than further demonstrations that the United States wants peace, wants denuclearization. Would you recommend a third summit without a tangible deliverable, as it's called, something on the table that the United States knows will be achieved?
Well, you're speaking in the terms of conventional diplomacy, that, my goodness, there's no deal. How horrible. I would say it the other way. If you can't get a good deal, and the president offered North Korea the best deal it could possibly get, no deal is better than a bad deal. So the president's decided